Hey gang, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Jedi Knights Watch. Today we're going to be doing another Hot Toys unboxing, and we're going to stick with Marvel. We did Thanos last episode, and now we're going to do Gamora. And this is from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I held off for the longest time on buying this figure because I have never been a fan of rooted hair, and I was really skeptical of, getting a figure with the rooted hair. A lot of the figures now are going towards sculpted hair, and I've heard so many horror stories of the rooted hair that I just wasn't sure. Well, she just sold out on Sideshow, and I was still able to pick her up for a pretty good price on eBay, so I snatched her up, and hopefully I won't have any regrets. I am a big Gamora fan, big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies, so hopefully this will not let me down. Before we get going, don't forget to like this video. It helps us out a lot, tells YouTube you like the content that we're creating. Subscribe to the channel, be a part of the Jedi Knights Watch. Rob and I review Hot Toys figures, NECA figures, Funko Pops, arcade one-up machines, and we also talk about movies that we love. And ring that bell so you are notified when we're coming out with new content. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the figure. First off, looking at the box, this is one of my favorite boxes. I love the green around the box. I love what they've done with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 figures and how they've made the box itself look like a old school kind of like a speaker or cassette player. So on the bottom we have a profile picture of Gamora, and it's almost like a drawing picture. I really like that. I really like the straight face look on her face, because throughout the whole movies, that's kind of how we see Gamora. I think that suits her really well. Love the pink with the green. We have in the upper part here, we have the videotape, and we got buttons and sliders and different kinds of modes, and it just looks so cool. Really big fan of this. On the side of the box we can see a big old volume knob, and on the top we have your buttons, your play, pause, forward, rewind, stop, and eject. And then on the back it's got the warnings and whatnot. Now if we slide off the outer cover here, typically you're gonna get a nice picture insert of the figure, but here they actually kept going with the speaker look, and you can kind of see like I'm not a big techie guy, but the microchips or the processors, and they have all the creators' names on them there, so that's kind of cool. It's different, and that's kind of what I like about it. Alright, so now let's get the figure out of the box and take a look at everything she comes with. Starting with Gamora's base, here it is right in front of us. It is the normal crotch grabber base, and it does say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 on it. Most of this top of the base here is going to be somewhat of a dull and rough finish, but then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is going to have a nice gloss to it. Here we have the nameplate Gamora. And I know some people like those silver nameplates, but here we just have the black one. I would prefer if it was just if this cutout wasn't here and it was just on the side, kind of like some of the newer ones they're doing, just to kind of keep it simple. That's just my personal opinion. But otherwise, this is your typical base that we get with these figures. It looks really cool. I always love the space kind of theme to it for Avengers and Guardians, so the really cool looking base. Alright, take a look at all the accessories that Gamora comes with. We have an extra shirt, a little baby Groot, her rocket pack, a sword and dagger, her gun, and then she comes with 3 extra pairs of hands. So we have the resting hands, or the open hands, on the figure right now. We have the closed fisted hands, the gripping hands, another gripping hand, trigger hand, left gripping hand, and closed fisted hand. Now let's take a look at these items one by one, a little bit closer and more in detail. Alright, starting with baby Groot here first. The nice thing about these Volume 2 Guardians of the Galaxy figures is that they all come with a baby Groot, and he's got a different pose in each one, so that is really cool. You can collect the little baby Groots. I do have the Groot from the Rocket figure, and he comes off this base, but this one really seems secure, so I didn't want to break it, but it seems like they glued this one on, unlike the other one. So you do have to keep them on this base, unfortunately. But really good detail in the figure itself. And he's holding that bomb, as you can see from the end of the movie. Good paint applications going on here. I love that they added this. It's just a nice touch. Next we have her rocket pack slash chest plate. And this thing is very delicate, so you're going to have to be careful when putting it on. I really like the chrome look to it. Really good paint application. Nice detail. Got a little bit of gold in the sternum area there. Has a little plug here that these just snap into place. But yeah, and then you got the rocket on the back. Really cool designs in the middle here. And just a nice shine to it. Just makes it look like it's real steel. Here's the shirt she comes with. And I think I am going to pose her with this shirt on. And then the rocket pack. So we'll put that on for you guys later in the show. But yeah, just a nice mesh material. Kind of feels like an athletic shirt. Then we have her sword. It's got a nice paint application. There's not a whole lot of like pitting or characteristics in the metal itself, or the material, I guess. It is plastic, but lots of really cool details going on right here. But it's very clean, I guess I would say. And same thing with the dagger. Now this gun I really like. I love the color scheme of it, and just all of the pitting and just imperfections that they put onto this. Just looks really worn and weathered. Got the scope up top. I really like this gold color to it. It's got all that detail in there. And then we'll take a look at one of her hands, and it's the trigger hand. Got her rings there. These are really delicate because obviously being a female figure, they're going to be smaller, skinnier molds, but they got a nice flex to them. And a really good color as well. Alright, without further ado, let's get the figure out here and take a look. Alright guys, here we have Gamora out of the box. I think right off the bat she looks really good. The rooted hair doesn't look too terrible. Again, I told you guys that I really held off on getting this figure, and the reason why was because of that rooted hair. I really wish it was sculpted. This is my first rooted hair figure, and I've just had that fear of buying one of them because I've seen what the rooted hair can look like over time, and even just out of the box, and how messy it gets. And you know, you can just see kind of some of the strands of hair kind of going off in their own little areas here, so we are gonna have to try and touch it up a bit. But I think overall though it looks pretty decent. The face sculpt itself looks really good. Looks like a really good likeness to Zoe Saldana. Really good detail in the face. The color of the body I feel is a lot more screen accurate compared to the first Gamora that they made. The facial expression is a little bit on the blank side for me, but I think at certain angles it looks really good. I just I know there's been some complaints of just kind of like that blank stare, and I do kind of see it. The eyes do maybe look a tiny bit buggy, but I think overall the head sculpt looks really good. Alright, so let's go down to the midsection. So here we have the midsection, and we have her vest. Really well done. I like the undershirt kind of showing at the top and the bottom. This vest, I don't think it's a pleather material. I can't put my finger on what it is, but it's not that normal pleather. She's got a really nice coat that's gonna also be somewhat of a pleather material. I think it's gonna hold up really well as long as you're not keeping her in some dynamic poses for long periods of time around the elbows and whatnot. But she's gonna have some pretty good articulation. The nice thing about the coat is that it does have a small wire running through the side here, so you can You can pose it kind of in a, again, more of a dynamic pose, or you can leave it draping and it does look very nice. The belt is going to be a rubber material, so it's not pleather, so you don't have to worry about that deteriorating over time. And then you can see just the hands that came with the figure, and it's just those kind of resting hands. But here's the back end of the coat. Now the pants are going to be a pleather material as well. That does concern me a little bit over time. How is it going to hold up? Is it going to deteriorate? You know, I have the Terminator DX13 right now. So far, you know, it showed a little bit of signs of wear and tear, but it's held up okay. Hopefully this will hold up as well. But I like the outfit a lot. Just really different and really, I guess, detailed. Like even just on the vest, you can see all the silver buttons and whatnot. Just looks really cool. Alright, going down to the lower part of the figure, you guys can see that I do have the base incorporated here with this figure. You know, I do not like to use the base, but I am having a hard time getting this figure to stand. I'm gonna have to mess with it a bunch more, but I think a missed opportunity here was the boots. I really love these boots. Look at all the buckles and the just the heel of the boot. You know, it's hollow there. That just looks really cool. You got some black buttons here. It's like a plastic, but it looks like a leather material on the boot. I wish it was the split cut boot design so that we could have more articulation and that it would be easier to make her stand, because you really have no movement throughout here, so it is going to be difficult to get in some poses. You know, you can see that back heel isn't even on the ground. I'm just trying to, you know, so you can't really get her to stand flat. Alright guys, let's just take a quick look at the articulation of the figure. The head has really good movement, and then really how far she can move down or look down and look it up. This there's like this unibody piece here for the neck, so it's this rubber, but it's actually got a lot of movement, but it's hidden. The joint there is hidden, so that's really nice. Going on to the arms, whew, really easy to get a 90 there. Can even go a little higher. Does have a rotating arm, double bend at the elbow, whew, really good. And then we have, you know, your typical movement in the wrist, full rotation. Some nice crunch in the abdomen. She's got a lot of movement. This figure is going to be a lot of fun to pose. Got some twist as well. Some twist in the thigh. What about here? About there in the knee. And then the knee also, the boot here swivels. But again, you have nothing here. There's nothing. Oh man. But other than that, the figure has great articulation. Alright, so real quick, let's just show you how to swap out the jacket for the shirt. So we're going to take the hands off. Take the gauntlets off. And there's the coat. Really, now you get a better look here, but really nice stitching in the coat. I like that they have the lighter brown mixed in with the dark browns. It's a really nice coat. So here we have her with just the vest on. And you can see the joints here are exposed, unlike the first Gamora. But you're not going to have to worry about any damage to that rubber skin. And then there is a zipper right here that we can take this vest off. Alright, so with the head popped off and the vest off, we're just forcing on her shirt. Alright, so there we have the shirt on. Now we'll get the vest on. This guy. And there we have the vest on. So what I did was I kind of brought it through here and then just kind of opened this up to get it around the neck and through to the arm. But there you have it. It's kind of a loose fit. And this
doesn't seem to really want to click in. And there she is.
Alright guys, let's get her into a few poses for you and talk about some of the things that we really like about the figure and some of the things not so much. First thing that I don't like about the figure, I think this is a good figure, I really like her a lot, but I am still not a fan of the rooted hair. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, I'll give it that, but even just taking her head off a couple times, moving her head, the hair is starting to go every which way. I'm gonna have to look up some videos on how to style the hair just to manage it. But it's also like shedding everywhere. So in my light box I got little hairs everywhere, in my DTOF there's little hairs everywhere already. You know, I just it doesn't look the most realistic, and I think sculpted hair would have been the perfect choice, but you know, I don't regret getting the figure. I'm sure we won't have another Gamora figure for probably another few years at least, maybe when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out. Second thing I don't like about the figure is the boots. I love the appearance of the boots, I just don't like that they didn't do the split cut boot design, because this figure is really hard to get posing standing up, and if you don't want to use the base like myself, you're gonna have a really hard time. I do have her in my DTOF right now in a decent pose, but there's just not a whole lot of movement that you're gonna be able to do. You're gonna have to make sure she's really well balanced. They missed an opportunity of doing that so that she could have even more articulation. And the last thing that I'm not really crazy about of the figure is just the facial expression. I think the likeness to Zoe Saldana is really good. At different angles, she just kind of looks like she's got that dead stare or the bug eyes, and it just doesn't look as pleasing as you would like it to. But overall, I still think the head sculpt is good and a big improvement from the last figure. Alright, so now let's talk about some of the things that we do like. This figure is a tale of two articulations. The upper body, especially when you don't have the coat on, but even with the coat, has great articulation, great movement, and you can pose the upper body in any which way. Now the lower body, you know, there is some restriction with the leather pants and then those boots, but even that still, the articulation isn't bad outside of the ankles, so really well articulated figure. Second thing that I really like is how, and this isn't just for this figure, but all the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 figures come with a Baby Groot. That's a huge hit with my kids, and who's not a fan of Baby Groot? And lastly, I love that they included the extra shirt, the rocket pack launcher. You basically have two outfits with this character, so you can keep her in the leather coat. Actually, you have more than two outfits. Take that off and leave the vest on, take that all off, put the t-shirt on, or put the t-shirt on and put the rocket pack on, and you know, you basically have like 4 outfits that you can choose from here, so that's really awesome. Alright guys, well that is the Gamora figure from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. If you're still wondering if you should get her, I would say yes, but be careful. She's sold out on Sideshow and the prices are starting to climb. Get her while you still can. Let us know down below what you think of this figure. Let us know who your favorite Guardians of the Galaxy character is. And again, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and become a part of the watch. Until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.